In this video, we're going to talk about how to source safer and faster when you're just starting your Amazon FBA business. One of the things that usually is an issue when you start out with selling on Amazon FBA is the sourcing part, right? If you ever tried sourcing, you may have found that you kind of get drip fed with answers from suppliers, right? You wonder, is it possible to know if my supplier is reliable? And it's really, really hard to get around the whole sourcing process if you don't know what steps to take, right? So in this video, we're going to talk all about how to start fast and how to start safe at the same time. I'm living in China now since 2013, and I remember when I just started out sourcing my products, it was horrible. I made all the mistakes in the book, so here in this channel I talk about how to source, sell, and profit from your private label products online. So if you're interested in any of that, absolutely consider subscribing so you never miss any of the new episodes, and during this episode, head over to the description and read through and find all the links that we have there prepared for you. There are so many great Amazon courses out there, and maybe you have taken some, and I believe that they can help you kickstart your Amazon FBA journey. And I'm a huge fan of courses. However, I know that some of these courses really lack information when it comes to sourcing in China. And that's mainly because the hosts never sourced more than a handful themselves, right? But in this channel, we focus on sourcing. So let me give you a bit of advice here, how you can start fast and safe. The very first tip here I have for you is actually not sourcing related, but that's to just start. I know so many people procrastinate, and I catch myself a lot of times procrastinating on a lot of things that we should do. And I get it, like life gets in the way, and there are kids that have to be, have after school projects, and there's your spouse that need to have attention, and perhaps you have a pet, perhaps you have a job. Life is busy, right? But if you want to, break out of the lifestyle you're in right now, and you're looking for the next big thing or for a change, then you just have to start. I know you're afraid, and I was afraid too, and I lost a lot of money when I just started. But when I say don't procrastinate and just start, it doesn't mean that you should just take stupid risks, right? It just means get started slowly. Don't get started with all in and buy 2,000 products or 2,000 units of the very first product you find. Start small, but you have to start. If you don't ever start, then you're never ever going to get there. And there's absolutely no problem in just starting and making small steps. And this will eventually become more and more and more, and then you'll get there. For example, I remember around 3 years ago, I quit smoking. And from that moment on, I slowly progressed into making more sport. So I was running 5 minutes on a treadmill, and then I was completely done. But it became 10 minutes, and it became 20 and half an hour. And now I'm actually trying for triathlons. So this change doesn't happen overnight. It took a year or two to get there. However, it was all triggered by something really small, by 5 minutes on the treadmill, and not by trying an hour, and after doing that for 1 or 2 weeks, you completely quit because it was too much, right? So you have to start small. So maybe in the very beginning, it's the easiest for you to just go with a trading agency and don't even buy from a factory. Everyone is always talking about these bad trading agencies overcharging you, but it also has good points. You can get much lower MOQs, and we're going to make a whole video on how to get minimum order quantities that aren't so big, and I'm going to link that up here. If it isn't here, absolutely consider to subscribe, because then you get notified when the video is out. The thing is with the trading agencies that they make things actually a lot easier for you, because they can only charge more because they're already filtered suppliers, right? They already have better quality usually. They can actually export the product. It's a lot easier to work with them, and usually they speak better English. So if you're just starting out, there's no problem in working with them. Maybe you're not going to make a huge markup on your products, but it doesn't matter. You just have to start. You can always replace this supplier with a real factory later on, right? So you can start selling those products from the trading agency, and then once you're there, then you can upgrade and go to a factory. And if the sourcing process takes a little bit longer, it doesn't matter, because you already have a supplier that can supply you with smaller quantities. And then when you're ready, you can go a step further. The third tip here I have for you is lose your fear of losing money. The thing is that we always pay a certain price to learn things, right? If you go to school, you pay a certain amount of money for your learning material, for example. Or if you're participating, if you're learning a sport, or if you're learning whatever you're learning, if you're learning an instrument, you're always kind of paying a price to learn, right? In business, it can be a little bit different. You can actually get paid to learn. Now, this trade of selling products online can actually pay you in the future, right? So you have to lose the fear of losing a little bit of money. Like if you learn an instrument, instrument or if you participate in a club for whatever exercise you're doing. You're always paying a fee and you're happy for that because in return, you get to learn something. And here's the same. You're also, for that money that you put in, a lot of that is money is teaching you a skill that then you can leverage for life. And it doesn't mean that you will definitely lose money, right? It's likely, and I won't, tell you that with the initial try you're going to make 6 figures a month. It's very likely not going to happen, right? But you have to lose the fear of just losing money, because on one side is that you get something in return you learn, but also on the other side is that you can make the money back. So if you buy a small amount of products, you take calculated risks, and you just buy a small amount of products, you put it out there. Well, look, you're going to make some of the money back at least because someone will buy these products. And when no one is buying these products on Amazon, then you're going to be in the position where you have to figure out how to sell them. Then you have to grow, and then you explore another way that maybe works even better for you, and then you can grow from there. My fourth tip here for you when you're sourcing your product is following the right steps. A lot of people go out and they ask for the product with their logo changes and with color changes and with all of these things that they want, and they ask 10 questions when they get the quotations, and they ask for customized samples from multiple suppliers. And that's absolutely not the right way to do it. And the right steps to source your product is, very first, you get a lot of quotations. Once you have all of those quotations, you can look through them and filter suppliers at very first. Then you get samples off the shelf from suppliers that you like, but with the quotes. So you're getting quotes, including your changes and logo prints and all that stuff, packaging, for example. But when you get a sample, you just want to have a quality impression. You're just going to get a sample off the shelf that isn't customized, that doesn't have your logo. It's just about filtering. So you have the quotes, then you get a very simple sample, which is A, cheap, and B, very quick to get. And then you can evaluate. So you have the quotes, you have the sample quality, and then you can see what fits. And then you filter out all of the suppliers that didn't match your criteria, where the quality wasn't good enough or the numbers didn't work for you. And then you only progress with that handful of suppliers to the next step of customizing your product. So making your logo or your changes or your packaging and all of that kind of stuff. And then you have your supplier. But when you're just starting out, actually, I recommend don't put a logo. Maybe you even skip packaging. Maybe you don't do any product changes. In the very beginning, I think it's important to just, get a product out there, try. And if it sells without all of those features, well, it will sell even better when it has your features. You know what I mean? But you can just start out by just taking the simple thing, putting it out there, seeing if it sells. And if it doesn't sell, well, then you haven't wasted weeks of customizing your product and paying expensive samples and, going back and forth about your changes with a supplier. Then you just saved you all of that work and you could just progress to the next product. The biggest time and risk saver, though, is this tip. You have to get a sourcing agent. Because if you have a sourcing agent, then that agent is going to do all the work for you, and they're going to get you better prices than you could get. And the fee that you pay them, basically, you pay them with the difference between the price. So if they get you a 20% discount, for example, you only pay them 5%. So you're saving 15% of money, meaning you get a cheaper price and you don't have to do the work. And the agent worked as an insurance for you to then, handle your quality control, get you an impression of your supplier and all of these things. This is my high recommendation, and I'll link a video up here on how to find your sourcing agent. And again, if it isn't there, subscribe to this channel because it will be out very soon. Let me give you a little bit of a time example. So let's not even talk about all the money that you save with it. Let's just simply talk about your time, because I know you have a busy lifestyle and a busy schedule. So I think time is really of the essence for you. So if you go out there and you go on Alibaba and you filter suppliers and you get quotations and you gather all of the information together that you need, you probably need around 15 hours for that. And it always seems like, no, I can do it in 2, but you'll see once you start it, it's gonna take a little bit longer. Now, if you have an agent on the other side, all you have to do for that task is to tell your agent what you need. That takes an hour. And that's it. And then your agent will go out and get you the quotations and all of the things that you would have needed 15 hours to do. Then getting samples. Now that you have quotations, you have to get samples. So you have to speak with all of the suppliers, where to ship your sample, what kind of sample exactly you want, and all of this stuff. And that's going to take you around 5 hours speaking with multiple suppliers. Well, it's only going to take you half an hour with the agent, because all you have to do is tell the agent, hey, now please get me a sample from supplier A, B, and D, or whatever quote they got you back. So you just name this factory name on the quotation, and you ask your agent to get your sample. Your agent can even bundle all of these samples and send them to you in a bundle, so you even save all the shipping costs. And then if you do choose to customize your order and you get your logo on and your packaging and all of these changes with one supplier, that can take you more than 20 hours of going back and forth and working over weeks to get that right. Well, with your agent, it's a lot less. Let's say your agent, has a little bit of a misunderstanding with you and sometimes things go back and forth, then it might take 4 hours. But that's really the maximum that you have to spend your time on it and work on that. So all of these time savings are really, really essential. So even if you're just starting out, I absolutely and highly recommend get a sourcing agent right now. So this was a little bit more of a quicker video here today, but absolutely consider subscribing to this channel and head over to easypeasysourcing.com/training, because there I have a free web class for you where you can learn all the steps that we talked about in greater detail. So the webinar is called How to Source Your Private Label Products in China Without Getting Screwed by Alibaba Suppliers. And that training is completely free. It's going to give you all you need. So just find the link in the description or head over to easypeasysourcing.com/training. I can't wait to see you in the next video. I'm very excited to see you there. Have a lot of the essence for you. Stuff. It's going to take you around. So this was a little bit of a quicker video, but absolutely consider subscribing because we have so many more very great